What's good, YouTube? Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Also, check out any other videos on my page. So I want to say shout out to all my new subscribers. So if you're here watching this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified whenever I drop a video.
Hey, bitch, go watch the baby.
Alright, so let's go ahead and get into it. So the episode starts with them at WorldPride Day in New York City. We know Cynthia, Nene, Marlo, Eva, and Noelle are there. So last week's episode left off with Nene headed to speak to Cynthia and them on top of the float. So this week she gets to the top of the float. She says hey to Cynthia briefly. Then she heads to Noelle. And Noelle is home from college, of course, and we find out a couple of episodes that she's fluent. So Nene is just like asking her how she's enjoying the event and is she happy to be home from college. Kind of just love and light. Nene leaves the section or the float where Cynthia is at. And when she leaves, Noelle kind of comes to Cynthia and she's like, hey, Nene spoke to me, is that okay? And Cynthia's like, yeah, just because me and her have a problem doesn't mean you should feel like you have a problem with her. So I thought that was very big of Cynthia. Y'all know Cynthia is always going to be the bigger person out of the situation. But we're going to move on. Eva also is at the float or at WorldPride Day as well. I don't know how she was invited. She must have been Cynthia's +1. But like I said, they're going to force Eva on us whether we like it or not. But Eva is not interested in being around Marlo. We know Marlo is there as well. They shaking it. Overall, everybody's having a good time. Like I said, Eva doesn't want to film with Marlo, be around Marlo, because Marlo can get in that ass. Marlo exposed Eva for being a fraud.
You're fraud. Says your lace run. I'm fraud. Says your lace run.
Well, first of all, the house that she's in is not actually where she lives. She lives in a raggedy little house.
For basically not living the lifestyle like she claimed to live. We know last season Eva was renting a house to film for the show, and her bridesmaid and her fell out, and
Matoki ended up befriending her back after she talked about how she didn't pay. I'll call the names. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. It's the damn truth. So Matoki called her out. She didn't pay her the money she was supposed to for doing the wedding.
That house was her bridesmaid's house, and they fell out after Eva got married. And the bridesmaid reached out to Marlo and told her all of Eva's tea, and of course Marlo brought it back to the circle, and that's why Eva really doesn't like Marlo, because Marlo got the upper hand when it comes to Eva's real life. But we're gonna move along. So Porsha goes to counseling, and I'm not 100% sure if it's a counseling session, because the counselor or the therapist, whatever you want to call it, she was giving Porsha advice. I didn't know that the counselor can give you advice. I thought that they just they listen to you and, but she was really pushing for Porsha to work things out with Dennis, which I think was wrong, because Porsha doesn't want to work things out with Dennis. She wants to be in a healthier, better state of mind and being. So you pushing her to be with her cheating ass fiance is probably not the most encouraging or becoming thing for a woman. But anyway, we're gonna move on, because that scene really did not do anything or give us anything more than what we already received. Even though I love me some Porsha, we know she's just dealing with depression and things like that, but she is ready to go back to work to get back to normal. So, but anyways, Kandi and Kenya meet up, and they basically just talk about the babies. First, they give a flashback. Now that baby looked just like that damn daddy. What's his name? Mark Daly. So they do a flashback of the baby basically starting to crawl and things like that. And then and the baby's birthday is in November. Brooklyn's Kenya's daughter, and then Kandi mentions that her baby is actually going to be born in November as well. And of course, we know that Kandi had her baby on the 22nd, last Friday. So that was kind of dropped on this episode. But after the baby talk, Kenya explains that her and Mark got different parenting ways or styles. Apparently, Kandi has witnessed Mark belittling Kenya off camera and her being very submissive, but we don't, of course, get to see that. So they have a conversation in which we only get bits or pieces of it, but Kenya's just expressing that Mark doesn't agree with how she parent, and she doesn't agree with how he parent, just like I said in my last video. But Kandi is just being there, but Kenya mentioned that Mark their anniversary is coming up, and she wants to go out of town, do a little anniversary trip. But Mark is basically against the anniversary trip because he doesn't want to take a nanny. And this is kind of weird to me. I hope I'm going to explain this right the way I understand it. Basically, Mark doesn't want to take a nanny on the trip because he wanted just to be an intimate family situation. But Kenya wants it to be where she'll be able to have some alone time with her husband because they are not having any kind of sex or intimacy in their relationship. So she just wants to be able to go on a vacation, take the nanny just in case they want to go have a private dinner or just so they can, have some alone time. But Mark doesn't want to have that because he's not interested in being intimate with Kenya right now. For whatever reason, we don't really know. We just seeing their relationship pretty much unfold before our eyes at this point. But Kandi explained to Kenya, K and K. Kandi explained to Kenya that her first year of marriage was rough too, and this is just kind of growing pains of a marriage. So I'm glad that Kandi is really supportive of Kenya because, you need a friend like this. You would think Cynthia would be on the phone. I know Cynthia's in New York, but you would think Cynthia would be on the phone comforting Kenya. But we don't see that at all right now. For whatever reason, we just don't. So anyways, the next scene, Eva meet up with Cynthia for dinner. They're still in New York City. And when they get to the table, Eva realizes that there's a third person going to show up. And apparently, Marlo hit up Cynthia for drinks or dinner or whatever. And Cynthia, of course, agreed to come. And Cynthia invited Eva. But Cynthia didn't tell Eva that Marlo was coming. So when Eva got there, she was surprised. And she was already saying her little slick shade and boo-to-boo-to-woo. She didn't say nothing slick enough for me to remember, I can tell you that much. But Marlo finally comes. Well, before Marlo comes, Eva orders all this expensive food. And I'm not sure if it was Cynthia that paid for it because she mentioned it in the confession that the food was expensive. So, sounds like Cynthia took the bill after Eva left. Well, let me get into it. Marlo comes, and when Marlo gets there, Eva's so, her feathers get so fucking ruffled that she leaves. Okay,
bye, Ashley. Have a nice day. Bye, Ashley. Bye.
And in my mind, nobody can make me leave Eva's pregnant. And she also could be making a political statement. Like, I'm not going to film with this bitch. I'm not going to give her no light. I'm not going to give her no TV time. And that can go all kinds of ways. Because it can also give Marlo less shine. Or it can not work out in Eva's favor. Like, for example, you not agreeing to filming, and then you're not giving us drama, you're not going to take with this person, then what are we going to do? What do we need you for? When y'all exit the building and say y'all don't want to do things like that, it never worked out. Y'all eventually lose y'all peach. Like when Kim was like, I'm done with this, she lost her peach. When Kenya 2 seasons ago was like, I'm done with this, I don't want to film, she lost her peach. So the more you avoid filming Eva, hopefully you lose your peach. That's all I got to say about that situation. So she leaves, and Marlo is like, I don't give a damn, like, hey, I'm going to still sit here. But after she leaves, basically, Marlo wears her ass out. Marlo says she can't respect Eva because Eva is a liar. She lied about being bisexual. She lied about where she lives and renting from her bridesmaid's home. And she also said that Eva didn't start getting jobs until she came around them, like came around their circle and got on this show. Which I can agree because, like I said in my last video, she should thank Porsha's dirty draws for being able to get a seat on Dish Nation. That's all I got to say. But anyway, we're going to move along just like they did. Cynthia said, let's switch gears. Let's talk about something positive. Marlo tells Cynthia that she has taken custody of her 2 nephews. And she's happy that Noel has come out to Cynthia, and Cynthia's supportive of her daughter and things like that. Woo. And then Marlo asked Cynthia, have you spoken to Nene? And she's like, I haven't spoken to her. She's been doing press runs talking about me and saying that I'm weak and all this dumb shit. And Marlo was like, well, you said that she was a toxic friend. And then Cynthia pretty much says, well, yeah, she is a toxic friend. I wasn't lying, woo. But Marlo basically wants to bring them together and wants them to get back on to one accord, wants them not to have this drama. So she's trying to bring Cynthia to admit her truth and Nene to own her part as well. But both of them are being stubborn. Cynthia's being stubborn and Nene's being stubborn. I'm Team Cynthia with this situation because the only reason why they're in this situation is because Cynthia invited Kenya to her party last season and it rubbed Nene the wrong way. And right now, Kenya and Cynthia are not even that close. Eva and Cynthia are more close. Kandi and Kenya are closer. So Nene's mad at that Kenya came back. That's really what it is. Cynthia's just collateral damage. If Kenya wouldn't have came back, Nene would not have a problem with Cynthia. Nene has a problem with Cynthia because she has a problem with Kenya outshining her. That's just point blank period. But I'll get into that later maybe. Anyway, so but like I said, Marlo's trying to bring them together. She's not really here for them to be beefing or whatever. So the scene ends with them giving each other a hug. Next thing we see is Porsha's getting ready for work. Her mom is living with her 24/7 to help her take care of the baby because right now she's a single mom. Now y'all remember last season when they were trying to decide if both Dennis' mom and Porsha's mom was going to live with them. Apparently that's not working out because Dennis is cheating on Porsha and shit like that. So she broke up with the mama and his ass. So anyways, but Porsha's ready to go back to work. She's getting ready to go to work. And then I did Porsha's session all together. She had a great day at work. She was happy to be around her destination family. And now she's basically just looking for a nanny and things like that. So we're going to move on to Nene and Marlo meet up in New York still. And they are in the little boathouse, which I like that whole scenery. But they're in the boathouse. And I see the first thing, Nene was like, are those kids cussing? It's adults down here. You know she from the South when she did all that because that was hilarious. But anyways, so Marlo comes in. She's dressed to the nines, of course. Y'all know Marlo's a fashionista. So Marlo comes and she explains that she met up with Cynthia yesterday and they basically talked about Nene. And Marlo basically wants Nene to own her truth. And basically she's trying to be a friend of Nene, and she's trying to be Team Nene, a ride or die friend, but she also is letting Nene know that you are the wrong one in this situation, and you kind of need to be the bigger person and apologize. Nene's not feeling this situation at all to the point where she gets up. And they also show Nene in the confession crying, fake crying. But Nene leaves Marlo there hanging, y'all. That was so embarrassing. You're not finna walk away from me. I'm calling your name, telling you to come here, and you leave. Like, that's so embarrassing. So, like I said, Nene is full of herself. She's not going to be the bigger person. She's not going to own her part. She's not going to say that she was wrong. She thinks she was right. She wants these girls to bow down. She thinks she's the queen of the show. There's no queen of this damn show. Everybody on the show they bring something. Except for Eva. Everybody on the show brings something to the show. Except for Eva. But she no, that was Shamia. Anyways, so we're going to move on. Marlo was left there in the dust. So the next thing we see Kandi meet up with Dr. Jackie and a surrogate, and she brings Todd and, what's his name, Ace. So the baby Ace come, well, he ain't a baby no more. He like a toddler. I think he's about 3 years old. Or 3-year-olds, toddlers. I don't know. Somebody leave me a comment, let me know, because I'm not sure. I don't have kids. I have dogs and cats. But anyways, I got 3 cats and 2 dogs. But, so they meet up with the surrogate. They see an ultrasound. It's about that time to where the baby's about to come. And they get to see the baby. Dr. Jackie kind of tells us a little bit of what's going to happen at the delivery. So soon as the girl has the baby, she's going to give it to Kandi. Candy's going to be able to have the bonding time with the baby immediately. So I think it's kind of cool because I did not know that was going to happen. I thought that it was going to be something like the girl had the baby. She kick it with the baby for maybe a day or 2, and then they ship the baby to Kandi, like, at her house. I didn't know they was going to all be at the hospital, but it makes more sense. So I'm glad that Kandi came on and did this, showed this for us, because I did not know anything about this process. So shout out to Kandi for always doing the most in a good way. Anyways, Kandi gets a text from Kenya while she's at the doctor's office, and basically Kenya summoned her to come see about her. She leaves Ace and Tucker Todd Tucker, whatever his name is, at the doctor's office and go see about Kenya. When she gets to Kenya house, first of all, I love Kenya house. Kenya house reminds me of my house. I mean, it's not big and things like that. I got an apartment, but the inside, I got all white furniture. I mean, it ain't as fancy as Kenya Moore, let's be 1,000, but I love all white. If I could, I'd go all white like Lisa Ray and wear it every day. But anyway, I love the decor in Kenya's house. I love her house too altogether. But when Kandi gets to her house, Kenya doesn't really look like she's upset. She, they just walking around the kitchen area or whatever, woo wine. So anyways, they start talking about going to go get breast reductions together or whatever, and that leads to having the discussion, is your man touching on your breast? Is he touching on you? So then, of course, Kenya mentions that Mark is not touching on her, or he's not been sexually with her or intimate with her. She said that once she got to be about 6 months, he got weirded out by her body changing and her having a baby in her stomach. And Kandi could relate. She said when she was pregnant, her sex life kind of dropped, but after she had her baby Ace, her sex life picked right on up. But Kenya, of course, is not having that experience. Mark is still not wanting to touch her. So their anniversary trip came to the forefront, and Mark apparently did not go on a trip with them. I forgot where she said they went. They went out of the country somewhere. I think in Mexico. But yeah, Kenya went on a trip with her baby. And she probably took the nanny, but Mark did not go because he did not want to go with the nanny. So I'm assuming what happened was they were planning to go, because this is the only way it makes sense in my mind, because I'm not going to the airport without my spouse. But because they live in 2 different states and cities majority of the time, I'm assuming their communication must be a little bit off to where they were planning to go, let's say they were planning to go to Mexico on the 3rd. They haven't talked to each other since the 27th of the previous month. Kenya go ahead and move forward with her plans and going to Mexico. She take the baby and she take the nanny. They still have this dysfunction about, dysfunction about if the nanny is going to come or not come. So I think their communication may have been off, and Mark was probably going to head to the airport to be with his family during the anniversary, but when he found out the nanny got a ticket too, he probably just said, fuck it, I'm not going to show up at the airport. I'm not going to meet you in Mexico. So that's the way I'm assuming that their communication is just off. And when Kenya got there, she probably told him at the last minute that the nanny was joining them, and he decided not to come because it's not making no sense for him to not even put in no effort toward his marriage. My theory is the only way I can make it make sense for Kenya. Other than that, Kenya, you need to get up out of this relationship, because why are you going on a vacation, anniversary vacation by yourself? That doesn't make any sense. What else did we talk about before I wrap this video on up? But altogether, Kandi's just being supportive as possible for Kandi. She's being relatable. She's saying I've been there myself. She's not saying that her and Todd are Kenya and Mark, but she's just basically being a supportive friend and just trying to be there. And like I said earlier in this video, you would think Cynthia would be comforting her friend, or Kenya would be reaching out to Cynthia, even though they're in 2 different states. Hell, Mark is in New York Cynthia's in New York where Mark is. Maybe she need to sit down with Mark or something. Hell, let me be one of the goddamn producers for the show. I would make this shit interesting. But you would think Cynthia would be Kenya's confidant. But it's Kandi this season, which I love it, because Kandi and Kenya are one of my favorite housewives. Especially Kandi, I already know that. But so basically, Kenya feels like she's just in this thing alone. I think she needs to get out of a relationship if it is what they showing us. If it's just something underlying and we just getting itsy bits and pieces of it, it can get worked on. But for what y'all showing us, she needs to get the fuck about this relationship. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video on up because I still need to watch Married to Medicine. I heard it was real good last night. But y'all be sure to leave me a like. Drop down in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about the video. And also subscribe if you haven't. Shout out to all my new subscribers. Again, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for sure. Y'all have a great day and happy Thanksgiving. Bye.